think what I'll do is I'll
Thank you.
hide this thumbnail video. There. Can you see my screen okay? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. Thanks. So this is so I draw every morning, about 15 minutes. So that I did this in about 15 minutes. And there are some skills that what was that? Okay. There are some skills that I've learned
Oh,
um through
hmm,
this. One
hmm.
of them is embracing ambiguity. So the way that I do that is to start with a shape on a page and just develop it
No.
without what I'm going to create. And what I produce just evolves, like one decision informs next. And this is so important for me personally because I used to be a very nervous person. I used to have to plan like everything in advance. I used to have like backup plans to my backup plans to my backup plans because I was so scared of what was coming. And I've developed this ability to embrace ambiguity to the point where I actually am okay with my plans not going well or not even going. And I do believe a lot of that has to do with practicing this skill of just creating out of nothing. Another is drawing to develop my imagination. This is actually a little storybook that I created. And I do the drawings first, and then the story comes after the drawings are done. And this is again was important for me because it helped me to understand or to how to better envision something that's not there and to have the courage as an adult to do something that is imaginative. So something that's really not real, which was difficult for me at first, believe it or not, because I was such an analytical, realistic, pragmatic person that doing something like this was weird and kind of dumb. And I just wanted to do it anyway because I wanted to test myself. I feel now I'm pretty good at envisioning something that isn't there. And I do believe that this drawing practice has helped me develop that. Another is drawing to develop a playful attitude. I mean, I've always been quite playful in my manner, but as I became a working adult, I tended to suppress that a little bit because I thought I wouldn't be taken seriously because I can joke around a lot. Um, but what I found in drawing again, and I'm talking about drawing as an adult, not as a child, is that I was able to reinvigorate that playful attitude. And to be playful, I mean, if you think about it, there's not a lot of chances to be playful as an adult. There's so many things that you're dealing with. And so to do it in drawing is actually really freeing and very fun. And I actually did this little sketch when I was in a class, and it was the end of the semester, and I was exhausted. So this little character kind of shows you my my thinking at the time. And this little guy in the corner is again just a series of kind of clown-like characters I created, just to be playful. Okay, so this is, I think, what we mostly know about is drawing, and this is where my skill level, you can see, it's pretty good now. It wasn't at the beginning, but, and this is really to develop observation skills and defer judgment. So if you're not familiar with drawing, the, the way that people see is how you can tell whether they would naturally be a good drawer or not. Because a lot of people say, well, I can't draw a straight line. Well, to me, you're way ahead of the game if you can't draw a straight line, because it's not about that. It's really about how you see. And then if you learn to draw, you learn how to see and you learn how to defer judgment. And again, which is another, creativity skill that's quite important. And it has to do with accurate perception. So accurate perception is how to see what is really out there versus relying on our assumptions. And it is unbelievable when you start to draw that it's so such hard work to really pay attention and really see. So in this pig that I did, for example, around the eyes, you can see the eyes are just so odd. There's like these folds, and it took me forever to do that because it just didn't make any sense to me. So it took me forever to do that because my mind was fighting it, saying, this doesn't make any sense. An eye isn't like that. So this is what happens when you learn to draw this way, you learn to defer judgment and you learn to be much more observant and you learn how to see. So I just wanted to really focus. I just wanted to really focus on discussion with you um, on what you think about this. Are there any surprises? Um, does it um, does it does it resonate with you? Does it scare you? I'm just wondering what you thought about this.
This is Dr. Ravenel. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Dr. Ebno.
So my daughters are twins. I have four daughters, and they're artists. So it's just what you're saying is like actually watching both of them come up the way that you just said that you did. You know, you were able to bring up your childhood to actually capture it how you were creative at the most point until when you had to conform later on in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm that adult, and then to find to be creative in your drawings and how to be non-judgmental as you mentioned. And well, it's funny that you mentioned that, and I wrote it in the post here that my daughters grew up the same way, but they had each other, and they were able to create together. I never ever like taken their creativity in the drawings. I always encouraged it. I always advocated for them. Or take them to the park. It would be other than them playing video games or always on social media. I would take them out to courts and teach them because for me, what I got the gist of what you're saying right now is that what came from me is that your drawing experience is like an ocean. Well, the entire ocean hasn't been discovered yet, and still, if you plunge a submarine down there, at the end of the day, you never know what you're going to extract, and the ambiguity, as you mentioned, is something that resonates with me because at the end of the day, I personally am not afraid of ambiguity. I'm not afraid of anything new. I'm always up for the challenge. You know what I mean? And I just actually loved your pieces, and it's just wonderful. I got a lot of takeaway out of it, and I just want to thank you
Good.
for that. And if you notice, I tried to put a little forestry back here because you could probably get and decipher what's in the back of it. You know what I mean? So it was wonderful hearing you. I really appreciate it. So thank
Great. And
you. And
great.
so that
That's great.
I graduated from the creativity department here in Buffalo with my master's in creativity and leadership for innovation for change. And then I pursued a career. I'm sorry, I pursued a further goal with getting the PhD actually at the University of the Virgin Islands. So
Great.
I just love this whole entire genre. But nice meeting you though.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you. And I just wanted to reiterate, um, I didn't learn I didn't learn to draw as a child. I learned to draw as an adult. And I've been doing that, like I said, regularly because I'm really focusing on it as a practice. Only now I'm able to actually show because I'm after
But
25
but
years,
I don't mean
I'm
to
getting good.
interrupt, but right, but I don't mean to interrupt, but it just reminds me of even though are reiterating that it's come from your childhood, it's still childlike for me because it's still that undiscovery or that part of you that I didn't realize I can draw until I was an adult. You know what I mean? I was like,
That's
oh, I can't draw, I can't. But yet and still people would say, well, you have beautiful pieces. I'm like, no, they don't. They don't look, you know what I mean? Because I always doubted it. So as an
yeah.
adult, you have to see, as you get older, you mature, you see more, you have more of a vision of an open world. You're able to decipher what you see without judgment,
Yeah,
if you're, depending on the people you're around too. So I
that's great.
know what you said. I got just what you said, but that was just wonderful. Let me
That's
be quiet.
great.
I was
Thank
really encouraged.
you.
All right,
Thank
bye
you.
bye.
Is there anyone else? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Is there anyone else? Hi. Hi, Anthony.
I really like what you said about starting with a shape on the page. And
Mm,
um and maybe you could talk a little bit about the different ways in which you might develop it, as you said, or explore like what happens in process, like the different kinds of adventures you can have once you put a shape on a page.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. I developed a little book that way. So really, and I do creativity. When I start creativity, I do creative sessions with corporate and companies, and I start that way. So really, it's the thing is to commit to a shape and not be afraid. So I would do just something like that. And then I would take it and then I would start to build it. And sometimes it won't make any sense until probably way later on. And what I discovered was you're letting one decision inform the next, and you're not being afraid to just start and just to try. Because when we're drawing, we're so afraid that the product will be horrible. I have a lot of drawings that are quite horrible, actually, but I'm only showing you the ones I like. So I'm cheating a little bit. So, and what I learned though is that skill is good and helpful and useful elsewhere. That you can kind of be a bit more comfortable with ambiguity and you trust yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's great, and it sounds like for your way of doing it, it's a really improvisational process, which I really like, and I think that it applies to a lot of different models of thinking and artistic exploration that may be in other medium as well.
Definitely, definitely. I do sculpture as well, so yes, definitely it does. Is there anyone else? Thank you, Anthony.
And I'm curious, because, you know, as an artist, you were an artist before you got involved in the master's program, and yes, you were already
Yes.
in. So, because I wonder how often, certainly in the school system, you know, when you're a little kid, you have your crayons and you're coloring everywhere. And
Mhm.
then as you start to go through the educational process, you're sort of told no. You start to get put into that box. And
Yeah.
the difference between learning how deferring judgment and a lot of the work that we now reclaim, I think, as adults in
Mhm.
creativity, the impact of that as an artist. And I'm not sure there's a really question in there, but I'd be curious about
Okay.
your perspective.
Yeah. Well, I know that I was so amazed when I started the program, the master's program. I actually we just graduated last year, but and what really I found interesting was what we were talking about was what I was doing in my studio. We were talking about, you know, deferring judgment. We were talking about being comfortable with ambiguity. We were talking about all these things, and I realized the straight connection between that and what I was doing in my studio. And I didn't understand it before the program, and now I can speak to it. And now I can try and encourage people to draw or doodle, um, and to develop those skills. Because to me, that's the biggest impact for me and benefit is developing those skills. The fact that I can do drawing that I could sell is a bonus, but it's not why I'm doing it. Did I answer your question, Kristen? And also, just so you know, as a child, the reason I didn't take any classes was because I had two artist parents who said that I was not creative and not at all, and to don't ever do art. And so I didn't because I was like, okay, because I was quite analytical. As you can see, I'm quite analytical. But then I realized, wait a minute, anybody can do this. Sorry, Jennifer, you have your hand up.
I am. I love your presentation. Thank you so much. One of my questions for you is a lot of facilitation, a lot of leadership comes down to presence and how we show up as leaders. And I'm curious if, you know, the mindsets you've described today have also added to your approach to leadership and facilitation with groups, particularly around mindfulness.
Around mindfulness. Sorry, can you expand on your question a little bit more? I'm not
Just
sure.
your ability to be present and see what is with groups, you know, are you seeing a translation between the way that you do your art and the way that you approach leadership and facilitation?
Okay, I understand now. Thank you. I think it's a great question because I used to always think that my drawing practice and my sculpture practice really helped me do well and be successful at work. I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry, and I think that my ability to be mindful, I do think was developed in my own personal practice. And it's something that I now talk about with people is that there is a real connection. And this is what I loved about Dr. Puccio's book on creativity skills is that there is a real connection to what you develop in your studio versus how you develop as a person and then how you can apply it to work. Did that answer your question, Jennifer?
Absolutely. I love it.
Rosemary, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my video doesn't go on because for some reason the host is blocking it.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what it says when I press on it.
You don't
Anyway,
think I am.
I have to thank you
Oh.
for, you've just given me permission to get over my artist mother.
Good.
Okay. You know, my walls are covered with my mother's art.
Yeah.
And so I never even went there, you know, because she was wonderful. So I'm not that I don't do things artistically, because I make with my hands all the time. But you've
Right.
just given me permission now.
Good.
And I'm going to just try. So thank you. That was
Try
really
it,
kind.
Rosemary.
Yeah,
Excellent.
no, I think I will.
Good for you.
And the thought of working out thoughts by drawing, because I'm
Mm.
terribly analytical. I'm a physician. I do things analytically. So yes, thank you. This is, yeah, eyes open.
Oh, good. I have a lot of physicians that take drawing classes with me, by the way.
Well, I'm
Um,
just saying the big one with me is, my mother's been dead for 20 years. I
yeah.
should, but no. Yeah, no.
No, say no, mom, no more.
No. Yeah.
Hi,
My
Troy.
turn. My turn. It's called my turn.
Your turn.
I think Troy now has a question. Thank you, Rosemary. Troy has a question.
Yeah, I want to offer something. So I did my master's project on sketchnoting, and it was developing the skill
Okay.
sketching,
Yeah.
drawing, and I've started to integrate it into my work practices. And
Mm.
what I see in your art is a great deal of refinement, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful art. And there's like I just grabbed a little note off my that I have on my
Love
monitor.
it.
Like even something as simple as this can
Yeah.
capture people's attention. I put them into my emails sometimes, and people are like, "Oh, I love seeing your drawings."
Love it.
I just did a recent sketch note of a meeting that we had, and I sent it out to everyone, and just got really great response. One of my colleagues printed it out and put it up in our office space, and
Mhm.
that was like the best kind of appreciation. Um, so I
Thank
just
you,
wanted to
Troy.
add that piece in there.
Yeah, no, thanks for adding that because I think sketchnoting, I took a sketchnoting courses recently and it's a different skill altogether and it's really using doodling, which is so much more accessible and less scary than maybe if you see something I've done. And so I love that. So thank you. It's true. It's doodling and sketchnoting is accessible and you can do it and it's a good way to open the door for you.
Yeah.
I know
Thank
we're a little over time, we're at 2:03, but is there anyone else? Any comments or questions? Is that a no? Oh, Perry.
Hi, Ann.
Hi.
I'm also having an issue with my camera.
Okay.
But I'd love to become a better drawer. Uh,
Okay.
Look for resources to help me out with that, and I'm
Hmm.
having difficulty finding that. So can you suggest a way to get started?
Domestika.org. Do you know that website?
I do not.
Domestika, domestika.org. Very, very good site to learn about anything creative at any level. The sketchnoting class I just said that I took was on that website. And so you can just ask for, introduction to drawing and something will come up.
Oh, I very much appreciate it. Thanks.
Or you can come to Montreal and I'll teach you.
Well, I am in Stratford, Ontario, so it'd be
Oh, you're not
a
that
long
far.
drive. Thanks again.
Thank you.
So basically, this is the wrapping up of the day. So I mean, as long as Anne's willing, people are welcome to stay on here. We can also do a sort of a wrap of the day in terms of your experience, what stood out for you. I I am not actually controlling the recording, so I think if you can't show your screen, I think that maybe it's how Anne has her system set up. So apologies for that.
My
But
apologies.
so curious about any highlights from the day. If you want to just unmute yourself and come on and share, kind of a what, so what, now what? What are you still curious about? What would you like to share from the day? Questions of each other? It's all fair game.
Unlike many, I'm just here for my own enjoyment. I'm retired. I'm an old lady now. I was a professor for years, but not now. So this has been a lovely day. It's been
Well,
so
maybe
nice.
next year you'll come back and present yourself then, Rosemary.
What do you mean by that?
Anything you'd like.
Oh, well, I teach stitching and I'm a coach. I'm a career coach for people applying to medicine and residency. Those are my post-retirement careers. So I'm not sure they fill up on your thing, but anyway, it's been fun.
We're a pretty open-minded group, so
Oh, absolutely.
welcome, and we're always looking for new perspectives.
Yeah, it's great. I've got some wonderful, I've come away with some great websites I'm going to look up. So thank you for that one, Anne.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
my-
I mean, that alone, these websites are great.
Also, what I'll do is I'll share back my screen. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, I'm going to be starting some workshops.
Well, I have to say, Anne, I was thinking that wouldn't it be great if you came back next year and did a longer session and tell everyone to come with a pen and pencil
Yeah,
and literally have a live sketching session.
for sure I could do that.
Be
I would
wonderful.
love that. Yeah, I would love.
When I was looking at your pictures, I was trying to. Is there a thumbs up? I thought I saw a couple thumbs up on that. Jacob, you'll be there, of course. Nicole.
Oh God, Jacob's way better than I am.
Nikki's still here.
Yes, thumbs up.
Mickey's a fellow artist. Well, so is Anthony, though his artistry is often with his violin.
Hmm. So you can get a hold of me on email, and also I'm on LinkedIn. I also have a Facebook page. My studio is called Parlamaine Studio, Parlamaine. And I post on my Facebook and Instagram regularly on how to do things. This is a picture of wallpaper I created for myself in my living room. It's like 9 feet by 8 feet. And I do a thing on how to do that. So you're more than welcome to get a hold of me if you have any more questions.
Thank you, Anne. Well, so then that's really wrapping up for the day. There is a update going back to the main screen on update on State of the Center with Gerard happening at right about now, actually. Oh, starting at 2:15. Wrap of the 2 o'clock is the wrap of the day that we're supposed to be doing now, and then 2:15 is an update from Gerard on. I think he'll be talking about the innovation suite and some of the other changes that are coming down the pike, the doctoral program and such. So maybe
Right.
a quick bio break and then join us back on the main stage. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks
you
for
so much,
attending.
Ann. This was wonderful.
Good, good.
Mm.
Rosemary, I'm not quite sure. I've been trying to figure out why you can't share your screen.
I have no idea. So when I click
I've
on it,
been
it says,
kind of checking the codes. I am not blocking you, so I'm not quite sure what's going on.
either do I, it says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, but you know what? I'm sorry, you're right. I have, it's actually, this is actually Ann's account, not mine. That's why. So she must have a block on hers. Okay.
Anyway,
Well-
I'm not offended, Kristen. It's okay.
Well,
You
thank
know,
you for coming. It was lovely
I
to meet
spent
you.
my life on Zoom. It's been absolutely fabulous. This is
Well,
just
thank-
another example of what I get. And,
Well, maybe we'll see
it
you.
means more to others to see me than for me to be seen.
There you go. Well, thank you for that. But maybe we'll then see you if you pop into the State of the Center. We can see your face then.
Well, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So
You have the master schedule with all the different.
yeah, I think so. Yes, creativity exchange.
Yep. So just go back into that main Zoom.
So I
Zoom.
went to that. Oh, I see what I mean. So do I have to get out of view though?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for this.
Hey,
You
we'll
know,
see you
this
soon.
is, as I say, I'm only doing this because it gives me enormous joy. But I will be sharing. There's things I will share in the end with others through the other things that I do, So it's been lovely. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Bye-bye.